What's going on, Make Movers? Hope everybody is doing well and enjoying yourself. Today, I want to talk to you about something that was shared with me years ago through great wisdom and great counsel, and it's been a great blessing and infusing for me personally, professionally, and pastorally. And I believe this will also be of great uses to you as well. I want to talk about the three P's. Yes, the three P's. You may be asking the question of three P's, what is that? I'm so glad you asked. I believe that every person, especially someone who's looking to make moves, ought to know, understand, and make use of the three P's. So, if you will, allow me to break them down. The three P's consist of pattern, partners, pupils. Again, pattern, partners, pupils. Let me expound. The pattern is a person who serves as a mentor or as a model. This is the person that is currently doing or has done what you desire to do. The pattern is someone you may or may not personally know. Maybe someone who has allowed you to empower them to speak into your life and hold you accountable. It may be someone that you don't know, but you've watched their movies, you've listened to their music, you've read their books, you attended one of their seminars, whatever it may be. But you find that whenever you are a recipient of what they have to say or do, it is of great excitement and empowering to you. A pattern is someone who has modeled a behavior or has modeled a an example that you want to follow. I'll give you an example. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is a pattern for me. I love his oratorical abilities. I love what he stood for. I love what even today his words stand for. I love how he was unashamed and unapologetic to be a Baptist preacher as well as a civil rights and social justice champion. He's a pattern. I didn't personally know him. He died before I was even born. But even today in 2021, I make usage of his words and of his motto. He's a pattern. He's someone that when I need to be empowered, be infused, be encouraged, I'll go to YouTube and find some of his old speeches, and I'll listen to them over and over again to be reminded of things. He just had a way with words. He's a pattern. Make it narrow. You may know someone who gave you your first job, the person who spoke the words into your life that made you believe you could do what you're doing now. That's the pattern. A mentor, the person who is pushing you to try more, pushing you to leave familiar to go to unfamiliar, pushing you to believe in yourself. Pattern. And you need to have a pattern. You need to have the example by which you're trying to follow. Now, be careful now, because you don't want to idly worship your pattern, but you want to try to emulate a behavior by which they have displayed unto you. That's, you got to be careful. There is a thin line. And if you cross that line, sometimes unbeknownst to you, you cross that line and you can go from trying to emulate to now you're trying to worship. You have to be careful of that. But you need to have a pattern. And I believe that every mentor ought to have a mentor. Every leader ought to have a leader. If you're trying to make moves, you want to be around people who've already made some moves or making moves currently, so that now they can show you and actually lay out to you how the blueprint works itself out. You need to have a pattern. That's your first P. Your second P are partners. Now, what are partners? Partners are those persons who are on the same level as you are. These are the people who are doing what you're currently doing at a similar level that you're doing it at. It could be your coworkers, colleagues. These are your partners. These are people who every day lace up their shoes and they are grinding like you. They're on the front line like you. They're trying to make moves like you're trying to make moves. They're your partners. These are people that you can confide in and converse with. They can invest in you. You invest in them. These are your partners. These are people who believe in you, not the titles, not the accolades. They believe in you, and you in turn to them. You need to have partners, people that you can call and cry to, and they can cry to you. You need to have partners, people who understand the everyday struggle that you find yourself in. You need to have partners. Partners are people who will use their words wisely and carefully when it comes to you sharing personal, intimate details and secrets. These are people who, just like you, are believing for better while they're still persevering through a current situation. You need to have partners. Partners are not your pattern. They're not people you're trying to emulate. These are people who, just like you every day, are trying to get to that next level, get to that next height. They're trying to ascend to another realm than where they are currently. These are your partners. These are the people who have been tested and they've been tried, and they're true to what you need them to be in your life. You need to have a pattern. You need to have partners. And then you need to have third P, pupils. Pupils are mentees. These are the people that you invest in, people that you pour into, people who consider you their mentor, who consider you to be their model. And so they come to you for counsel. They come to you for guiding. They come to you because they believe that you have in your mouth or in your actions what they need to be able to succeed at their level. Now, this is important now. Just like every mentor needs a mentor, every mentor should also have mentees, or at least a mentee, someone that you are intentionally investing in, someone that you have made it your obligation and responsibility that you are making sure that he or she is being pushed. The same way someone is pushing you, which is your mentor, you are pushing them, which is your mentee. It's the push-pull effect. Someone is pushing you while you're pulling someone else. And this is important to know now. Mentors push, right? So while you're being pushed by your mentor, you ought to be pulling along your mentees. Because listen now, it's hard for you to invest in someone if you don't have an investment already in yourself. It's hard for you to give counsel if you haven't been counseled. It's hard for you to tell somebody to go do something if you haven't yourself already done it. But when you have done it, you now know how to help them orchestrate the steps. You need to have a pattern, the model, the example, the mentor. You need to have partners, people on your level who are helping you, who are investing in you, instilling in you, and you in turn to them. People you can talk to every single day who will challenge you. Scripturally, it says iron sharpening iron. You're literally allowing each other to rub off on each other and help each other become better. Then you need to have pupils. These are students. These are mentees, the ones that you invest in. Now, let me caution you. Let me caution you, make movers. You want to be careful not to have conversations designed for your pattern with your pupils. I'll give it to you this way. You got to learn how to bleed up, not bleed down. Your mentees can't handle the everyday struggle and grind that you find yourself dealing with. They can't handle that. They're not on that level with you. And so you got to be careful what you say to them. You got to be careful how much you give to them. You got to be careful how much you allow them to see or be exposed to. They just can't handle it. They're too young to handle it. At some point they'll mature, but they may not be there right now. And so your conversation with your mentor, with your pattern, with your motto, it's for you. You can't bring, nor should you bring a crowd with you for that conversation, because that conversation may be them scolding you, them chastising you because you should be further along. You should be doing more. You should be saying more than you are right now. And so your pupils can't handle that conversation. So don't try to pull them along. But you can use the investment of your pattern to help you invest into your pupils. The wisdom from your patterns can help you with your pupils. This is important to know. It's important to know. But you must be careful because your pattern is your pattern. They may not have agreed to be the pattern for your mentees and for your partners. And so you want to be careful how you handle that. That may be a confidential relationship between a pattern and you. And no one may even know who that person is. Nor do they need to know who that person is. But you know, if I talk to this person once a month, once every quarter, once every 6 months, or once a year, once a decade, whenever you talk to this person who is your pattern, that one encounter infuses you, excites you, it challenges you, it chastises you, but it makes you better. You're not going to talk to your pattern every day. It may not even be every week. Every month, every year may not be that. But when you do talk to him or her, you know that they just gave you some sound counsel and they help you. You got to be careful. You got to guard that relationship with the utmost sensitivity and love. And then with your patterns, you want to be careful with your partners, I should say. You want to be careful not to assume everyone is partner material. Yeah, they may be doing the same thing you're doing. You may have great conversation. Does not make them your partner. Does not make them your partner at all. You must be careful. You need wisdom in this area. You need wisdom in this area. Just like we have wisdom with whom you declare to be your pattern. You must have wisdom with whom you declare to be partners. Because there are some people who are wolves in sheep clothing. They are in disguise. They're literally latching on to you to leech from you or to steal the blueprint. They're not invested in long term. They're not invested in what you're invested in. They just learn how to say the right things the right way, and they've convinced you. They're manipulative. They've learned how to use their words to garner favor and likability, but they really don't have a sincere heart towards you. But wisdom, discernment, and experience will help you be able to weed out who doesn't qualify to be a partner. Listen, I understand that there are people doing similar things that you are doing, and that is great. Does not qualify them to be a partner. Does not qualify them to be a partner. And you need to understand that partners need to live up to the role of being a partner. Just like you have to be that in their lives. And then when it comes to your pupils, let me give you some wisdom through mistakes that I have made. You're not called nor are you required to mentor everyone. You can give some people sound counsel in one setting, and that could be all that you need to do for that person. Then there are people that you have made the conscious decision that you're going to play the role of mentor, and therefore they're a pupil in your life. Now, let me say this to you because this is important now. You want to count up the cost. You want to make sure that you are fully invested in the role by which they need you to play in their lives. You need to make sure you have a clear conversation at the outset, that you have clear understanding of their expectations towards you, and you in turn, they understand what you expect. You want to make sure that you have been empowered to challenge them and not just be a person who condones and cheerleads. You want to make sure that you can challenge them when you feel like they're giving you mediocre versus giving you their all. Be careful. Because if you don't use wisdom, you will confuse pupils for partners and partners for patterns. I have seen this play out. I have seen great leaders fall because they entrusted someone in the wrong category. I have made the mistake of confiding in people and realizing after I was burned that that person did not qualify to be a partner or a pattern. I like to say this to people in conversation. I say, you shouldn't get mad at someone else for doing you wrong when you gave them the ammunition and you loaded the gun for them to shoot you with it. Now, what does that mean? That means you can't get mad at someone for telling your business when you gave them your business to tell. If you learn how to hold things close to you and make sure the people around you can be trusted, you will save yourself a lot of heartache and pain because you won't find yourself divulging information. I understand when news is exciting, you want to tell everybody. I've been there. And that excitement, it pushes you. You want to be able to share it. But you have to be careful because until you have clearly categorized your pattern, your partners, and your pupil, you may make the mistake of divulging detailed, confidential, secretive information with people who can't handle it, nor should they be trusted with it. My wisdom to you when you're making moves is this. There are people, listen to me loud and clear. There are people who are not happy with the moves you are making. This is why my motto is make moves, not announcements. Because when you're always announcing things, you are allowing people to be in your business and know what you are doing. Make moves, not announcements means I'm not going to talk about it, I'm going to be about it. By the time you found out I've done it, it's already been done. You don't even have the ability to cut me off because it's already been done. There are some people who love to brag about what they're going to do, only not to ever do it. Don't be that person. Don't be that person. Real patterns will show you the blueprint. They'll help pave the way for you. Real partners will help sharpen you as you sharpen them. And real pupils will submit themselves to your tutelage because they see that you have what they want. Now, it is hard to be challenged by a pattern, to be sharpened by a partner. It's hard to be in those roles if you operate with ego. It's hard. Because when you read your own headlines and you start believing your own hype, you make the mistake of thinking that you've arrived to a place where no one can deal with you and no one can challenge you. Mighty is the fall for you. I ask you, I beg of you, come back down to reality and submit yourself to a pattern. Confide and converse with your partners and open up your heart to be a mentor to at least one pupil. There's so much in you that somebody else needs to be able to benefit from. Every person who's making moves needs a pattern. Partners, at least a pupil, if not pupils. You'll be amazed how fulfilling your life is when you invest in someone else as someone is investing in you. You know what you like to say? We make moves, not announcements. I encourage you to visit our website at www.darrickdmcgee.com. Subscribe to this YouTube channel if you're watching it here. I encourage you to share this with other people. My heart's desire is to be able to help all persons in all facets of life, whether you are a professional and you are a key executive or you are an administrative role, whether you are a pastor or you are a parishioner, whether you are a husband, a father, a mother, a wife, whatever role you find yourself in, a student of any level of schooling. I believe that these videos are designed to be helpful to you. Remember your 3 P's. Identify who they are and make sure you keep them in the proper category. And don't be afraid when certain partners have expired and their time in your life is up. That's possible as well. Remember now, don't talk about it, be about it. Why? Because we make moves, not announcements. God bless.